Hi, my name is John Q, and I am an addict in recovery. And I think I'm going to talk about recovery and what it means, to me. The basic text of Narcotics Anonymous says that recovery is an active change of attitudes and ideas. I have to quote, you know, uh, where it comes from. So, for you know, for copyright reasons. But anyway, that comes right out of the basic text. And when I quote, when I say the basic text, I'm talking about the Narcotics Anonymous book, you know, and, so just, for future references, you know, and anyway, it says attitude change. Recovery is an active change of attitudes and ideas, and it doesn't say all ideas or all attitudes. It says ideas and attitudes. So a lot of times we think that when we first come into recovery, you know, uh, that that we got to change our old ways and our old ideas and stuff like that. But even the ideas that we have right now, need to be changed according to it also says in the basic text that everything we know about the truth is subject to revision, especially what we know about the truth. And so there may be, and the reason I'm bringing this up is because a lot of what we do today and how we act has to do with how we believe. The things that we believe in and how we believe in them. If you look up the word attitude, it's a system of belief. A system of belief. And so in other words, how we believe has to change. The way we believe in things. And our beliefs are founded on things that we've heard or that we were taught, from from when we were kids or from our parents, or just little cliches that we pick up on as we grow up. Like you can't teach old dog new tricks, which is not true, because you can actually teach an old dog new tricks. And all these little cliches that people use, like I mean, when we were growing up, our parents told us, not to talk to strangers, or you know, um, any cliche that you can think of, that sometimes, that's like that sometimes might have some truth to it, but it's not completely true, and it doesn't always apply. And or like once an addict, always an addict. And from my experiences that we've learned to live differently, as that I used to think that because I was an addict, that I was gonna die that way, that I was gonna die using addict, that I never was gonna experience anything new. And of course today I believe differently, as a result of coming around and not picking up a day at a time. So things have changed, and not only have those things changed, but other things that were made possible as a result of not using. And I've been able to experience a life worth living, that I didn't think was possible. And it has something to do with beliefs. And a lot of times we don't realize how deep those beliefs are. Like not knowing where they come from, and sometimes we have to look back. And like I think sometimes we should sit down and write a list of all the things that you believe in, and like all your different beliefs, like what beliefs you have, and write them all down and look at them and see if any of them really apply. you know um, just things that that you think of, that that you continue to behave a certain way as a result of the way you think. And if you think back, like if there's situations that are causing you problems in your life today, and if you just look back at where that belief came from, you you can undo it. Like they have a saying, trace it, erase it, replace it. So if you trace it down, if you look to see where it came from, and it has a lot to do, with inventory. Like that's the reason why we take an inventory, to turn around and pay attention, or look at our behavior, or look at, because there's a lot to this process, that helps us to change the way we believe, to change, who we are. Like, for a long time, I believe, I had this belief that, that women were there, strictly to please me, or to please the way, you know, you know, you know, that they were there for the taking, and they were an obstacle that I was supposed to, like, conquer, or some, like, you know, that I was supposed to conquer them, and like, and for a long time, and I had a friend, like, I've learned from other people, that taught me to have some principles, and to realize that women were a lot more important, and they weren't just an object, to be used, or taken advantage of, or like, and it's not, I don't think it was even, that, that I wanted to take advantage of, was that belief that, that the only thing, that the only way that someone could love me was, through love making, that was, well, through sex. I wouldn't say love making, because, the truth is that, it's sex. You would think of it as love, but it's actually sex. And sometimes, you think that, you get that love, that unconditional love, and that it comes through having sex. And I so that thinking has to change. Like, you really have to realize that, there's a lot more to this whole deal than just having sex. That love is a lot more than just having sex. And it has to do with, you know um, being able to communicate with somebody, and being able to do things that together, as one, and enjoying each other's company, and being able to talk to each other and communicate, and having some of the same ideas, and some of the same, and feeling it in your heart that you really want this person, because your heart, pounds every time you see them, or because you start having cold sweats, because, like, the feeling that you get when you're in love, and that excitement of being able to see them, and that smile that they put in your face every time you see them. And so there's so much more, and this belief, and it has to do with the way you believe. Like, I mean, I kind of grew up that way, because I believe I got it from my father, and from the men that, that I grew up around. They were always telling me, you have to chase after the woman, you have to do this, and and how many women you get, like, you had to, oh, such crazy ideas of, thinking, these crazy ideas, that we come up with, and cause us to act, insane. So, it's funny how the second step, it talks about came to believe in a power great. It talks about belief. It talks about believing in something more powerful than me to help me change. And it talks about, it talks about changing the way you believe. And that idea of believing in something more powerful than you to help you do that. And that's where the 12 steps come into play, and the principles that come from those 12 steps. So, it's anyway, so much about belief, right? And you know I have so much hope, because I continue to change even today, and my ideas of how I believe continues to change every day. So, one thing is constant, and that's change. And thank you.